Hey, you guys, welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to come and give you guys some breaking news. So, Bishop Lomar Whitehead, also known as Bishop Bling, has just been arrested by the FBI. So, I know most of you guys know Bishop Lomar Whitehead is the pastor of the Brooklyn church who church was robbed over the summer, and Bishop Lomar he decided to extend his 15 minutes of fame by basically becoming a troll on the internet. So we just actually got this press release that the United States Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York put out this morning that Bishop Lomar Whitehead has been arrested by the FBI. He has already been seen by a magistrate judge there in federal court in New York, and that this sealed indictment has been opened as of today, and that they are alleging that Lamar Whitehead abused the trust placed in him by a parishioner, bullied the businessman for $5,000, and tried to defraud him of far more than that, says the U.S. Attorney Damian Williams, and stated that Mr. Whitehead lied to federal agents. His campaign of fraud and deceit stops now. So Bishop Lomar Whitehead has been charged with 2 counts of wire fraud, each that carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison, 1 count of extortion, which carries also 20 years, and 1 count of making material false statements, which carries a maximum of 5 years. So the press release basically outlines that Mr. Whitehead induced one of his parishioners to invest approximately $90,000 of her retirement savings with him, but instead spent the investment on luxury goods and other personal purposes. Now, when Bishop Lomar Whitehead came on the scene and everybody started kind of looking into his background, I did a video on how he had stolen a parishioner's life savings from her, and her name was Miss Anderson. Bishop Whitehead had basically taken her retirement savings under the guise of helping her repair her credit, and then telling her that he was going to help her secure housing, and never did anything. And when she asked him about it and wanted her money back, he basically told her that her that anything that she gave him was to be considered a donation to his campaign for Brooklyn Borough President. So, like, the gall of him to take someone's life savings who is a member of your church. And when we would ask him about, Miss Anderson, he would always say, oh, well, she wasn't a member. Like, that wasn't the answer. She was a member, by the way, and so was her son, a member of your church. And her son actually introduced her to Bishop Whitehead. She became a member of his church, and she ended up losing her life savings to him. And he never felt the need to answer to it. Matter of fact, when she filed her lawsuit in Brooklyn courts, he never even answered it. He never even responded to it until he became internet famous after the church robbery, when right before she was going to get a default judgment, he decided to have a lawyer answer it just to delay it. So to see that more than likely Miss Sanderson is a part of this federal indictment, it gives me a sense of hope that she will have some justice for what he did to her. Because honestly, it takes a lot of nerve to steal from your own church member and to take their entire life savings. So going forward, the press release states that second, White had extorted a businessman for $5,000 and then attempted to convince that same businessman to lend him $500,000 and give him a stake in certain real estate transactions in return for favorable actions from the New York City government, which Whitehead knew he could not obtain. Now, Whitehead often made it sure on the internet that we remembered that he had a relationship with the New York City mayor, Eric Adams. He would try to leverage his relationship with Eric Adams whenever he was trying to garner some type of favor in the media, or he would try to raise his celebrity status. And I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a subway shooter New York Police Department were trying to bring in. And Bishop Whitehead inserted himself and basically said that he would arrange for the suspect to turn himself into Mayor Adams. That never happened. Matter of fact, the family came out and said they didn't even know him. So, getting back here to this press release, it's showing that the last charge of making false statements stems from speaking with FBI agents who were executing a search warrant. Whitehead falsely claimed that he had no cell phones other than the phone he was carrying, when in fact, Whitehead owned a second phone, which he regularly used to communicate, including to send a text message describing it as my other phone. Shortly after telling the agents he had no other phones. Everybody knows that if you lie to a federal agent in the midst of an investigation, you're going to be charged with making false statements. So, I mean, this just goes to the fact that Bishop Whitehead thought that he was more cunning and smarter than everybody else in the room, when in fact, he wasn't. The feds have a 97% conviction rate. Doesn't look like we're going to be seeing much of Bishop Whitehead, at least not walking free anytime soon. But we'll be keeping an eye out on this. But I just wanted to bring everybody this breaking news that Bishop Lomar Whitehead, Bishop Bling, is in the clinger. And so until the next one, you guys stay blessed.